discovered a new one for myself. I've recently discovered that the amount of chicken nuggets I can hold in both my hands is exactly the reason why my parents are worried about me. It's 26. So silly. Hello. Do you mind if I ask you a question? No, wait, do you mind or do you not mind? You don't mind? Lovely. Hi. When you were little and someone would ask you what do you want to be when you're older, what would you say?
A vet.
A vet? Oh, that's cute. I always think like it's so lovely when a child says a vet because they're just thinking about saving the animal. But I've only ever been to a vet twice, when my dog died and when my goldfish jumped out the bowl. So, oh, that's really sweet. Do you mind if I ask what you do now? You're a PA?
Yeah.
For family?
Yeah.
How very fancy of them. Golly. Well, that's fun. But when I was a little girl, the thing that I really wanted to be when I was older was that I really wanted to work in Argos. We all have dreams. But I loved Argos because Argos was like a scavenger hunt for really shit anniversary presents, right? Oh, it was so good. And there's two different types of Argos I've discovered, and you can find out which one yours is because so there's one type of Argos where you order your thing and then a guy would go into the back and then he'd find it and then he'd send it through some double doors and he'd put it on a shelf and that was it. And if that was your Argos, I'm really sorry, you're basic. But my Argos growing up in Southampton, my Argos, and this might also be yours, is that you'd order your thing and then the guy would go into the back, he'd find it, he'd send it down a slide onto a conveyor belt. Guys, why are you not excited about this? This was the shit, alright? I loved it so much. And you have no idea how much I wanted to go down that thing, okay? And you also have no idea how quickly I was fired. But not before the second loop, yeah? I loved it.
It's Amused Live. I am Mark Dolan. I'm wearing a very shiny shirt, which is surprisingly uncomfortable. I'm in the company of the brilliant comedian Ruby Carr, who has been selected based on comedic merit to perform in the final of the Amused New Comedian Competition 2019. So that's it, you're in the final. As far as I'm concerned, in terms of the CV, that's it now. Finalist. Doesn't matter about winning.
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't know. Maybe. No.
I think it's good.
I'm glad. This is fun. This is great. Edinburgh poster. I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, the problem is you can't talk to comedians about, you're in the final, it's going to be great, because all comedians are normally quite self-deprecating. And I just had you on stage a couple of minutes ago, announced as one of the winners of this semi-final. And comedians just it's torture to have to reflect on success, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're used to the struggle. Now it's like, I'm afraid you've got the crown, that's it.
Yeah, I know. It's exciting to be through to the final. That's going to be quite a ride. But and obviously winning would be lovely, but I'm just happy that there's another one of these.
Yeah, I know. How's it the preparation? I mean, does it play on your mind the few days before the gig or not?
Yeah, it will do. And my housemates get a lot of me repeating my jokes to them, going, was that better? Was that? And they're like, what have you changed? It's like I had a slight different intonation at that point. Yeah. They must, and they're going to have to go through that all over again now.
Of course they are. Do you actually worry about forgetting material, or is it just that you can't help yourself just going over and over?
It's not. I don't think I've ever forgotten material on stage.
Yeah.
It's, because everything to me, a lot of my stuff is like storytelling.
Yeah.
And so if the story's good, then I naturally know where the next bit leads to.
Yes.
It's just like wording. When you know that one word would definitely work so much better than the other, or having the certain structure of the words, then the punch will be better. But if I just slip up on it, it annoys me.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's of course exactly right. And we do know that you get one syllable of one word wrong within a joke, kills the joke, doesn't it? It just comes down like a house of cards.
Yeah.
It's got a certain correct rhythm. It's like a sort of line in a song, isn't it? It's just got to come out a certain way, otherwise game over. But it was not game over tonight, was it? It all came out perfectly. How long have you been performing comedy?
Well, actually, it's almost 2 years. I remember it was April 10th was my first one. Whatever 2 years ago was. 2017. Yeah. That was my first one.
So that's brilliant. And why did you do it? Because it's a ridiculous thing to think of doing.
I think it's because, well, I've always done kind of performance stuff, of course. Yeah. And like I've always been
acting or what?
Yeah. So I started off. I did youth theatres, and I started running drama clubs and youth theatre clubs of my own, and then outreach groups. And I did a lot of storytelling stuff and a lot of devising kind of thing. Yeah. And then I started trying to do playwright, and I was constantly just trying to find a way that I would want to perform. Yeah. And I didn't quite like just doing someone else's words, so I started trying to write my own, but then I am very dyslexic and that did not work out very well. Right. So then I was like, oh, maybe I can direct, and I did performance.
What were the issues? What was the issue with the dyslexia and writing?
Is that,
that's not the world's silliest question.
Well, no, it's that mainly because again, coming up with stories I love doing, and I can do it really quickly, but it's having to sit down and get those words out onto the paper will take forever. Right,
and that's whether you're on a laptop or whether you are pencil and paper, either way, it's just it's because of the dyslexia, it's just not happening.
It's not because I'm slow, it's not because I'm going, it's because I'll start a bit and then my mind will race elsewhere and I'll start thinking about something else and I'm like, oh no, you've got to bring it back.
Did you overcome this, I mean, you know, there are obviously different ways to handle dyslexia, but did you find a way, or do you just create in a way that's not the conventional pen and paper?
I guess now I don't. It's not really something that I notice as much, just because I'm not being forced to go through an education system that's not for me. I'm outside of it. I can write however I want, and most often the way that I write is that I have a notepad on me at all times, and I'll scribble down these ideas, and then I'll talk to someone about it, and then just through talking with them, I like have my muses, these people who I know will get my sense of like what I was going for.
Your trusted sort of sounding board people.
I've got a lot of those, and I could go to them, and then I write a slightly more better notes, and then I go try it out at an open mic night, just somewhere where I can just throw it at a wall.
And then you collaborate with the audience, and then the audience becomes the sounding board.
Yeah, and so it's much more. It's less about physically having to write it all down as a script. It's more just the points I want to hit.
Now, you've been a playwright and you've curated drama, and you mentioned outreach, which obviously has a great, a very positive impact on the community. So there's all these different ways that you've used the performing arts. What is special or particularly positive about stand-up for you, separate to those other things?
I think the thing that I enjoy most through stand-up is that it's a much pure form of storytelling, because it's very much me going, this is my story, rather than having to tell it through a character and the several characters and a subplot. It's much, and it took a while to get used to it, but having the fourth wall gone, just proper getting to see if an audience member, if they're interacting well with what I'm saying, and then if they're not, I can adapt, and if they are, then I like go further through it, and it's much more. I feel it's more of a shared experience. I find it weirder now going to the theatre and being like I'm just observing rather than being a part of it.
I think if you get it right, which you do, whenever you perform, and that's why you're in the final now, is that as a comedian you can have your cake and eat it. You can. There can be a message. There can be some drama. There can be all of the things that you'd get in a play. But as long as you sort of sugarcoat the pill with a few laughs along the way, that's the thing, isn't it? You need a bit. Is there any issue there with the pressure to make the audience laugh, given that you might come from a more theatrical background? Does that rankle at all, that pressure to keep them laughing?
Yeah, I think when doing like a comedic scene, you don't necessarily need the audience to laugh to keep the scene going. Yeah. But when you tell a punchline, you're like, hey, and then
it's very clear if they're laughing or not. It's very clear when they're supposed to laugh, isn't it? Whereas the great thing about theatre is you can kind of go, no, don't worry, that was the serious bit.
Yeah, oh no.
We can't do that.
They're all in deep thought, they're just enjoying it.
So well, that's amazing. And what about the future then? What are you hoping to do? I mean, you've obviously done so much already creatively. What are your ambitions as a comedian?
I think It's just at the moment it's like kind of just a little basic because I've always been just branching out and trying lots of different things. I want to try a bit more like physical comedy again now because I went to it's just sort of straight stand up, and now I want to try and get more into. It's just adapting my style, finding what that is like for me, and then so like the aim is then longer shows, and then I would say I don't know, touring. But like it's. I really enjoy making other people laugh. Of course, everyone does, and telling my stories. And I think if I can work out a way that I can do that, and that's my job, hot dang.
I agree. It being the job, that is success for every comedian, 100%. You before we did this interview, you sort of warned me. You said, "Look, I will make noises."
Yeah.
I think that you've got an amazing, wonderful energy, and obviously a ton of presence on stage. Have any of your sort of quirks been an issue for you during a gig, or do you find that everything just seems to become very centered when you're on stage?
Yeah, it usually becomes much more once I'm in like the spotlight, the zone. It's much more a focused energy. There's a lot of energy there, but like it like streams out in the performance. Yeah. And so often people see that I'm quite wild and there's a lot going on, and I get louder, but it becomes focused when I'm on stage. Right beforehand, I'll be very anxious and nervous and doing little dances, but I keep that to the back, try and stay quiet, and then come on stage, and it's like I'm trying to think. Like it's just like a hose. Like first it's spraying out, and then it just goes bam. So
you went bam tonight. You're a brilliant comedian, and also massively original as well. And I think I found out why, which is your backstory. You got all of this experience as a performer, and I love it when you've got someone that's a bit multidisciplinary coming into stand-up, because an awful lot of stand-ups have got myself included when I started, no physical presence, no stagecraft, just rooted to the middle of the stage, holding the microphone, barely looking at the audience. And comics that have got a little bit of a sort of bit of acting training, I always think have certainly at the early stages have got a big advantage there. So and what about the final then in Edinburgh? You're on your way. Were you going to Edinburgh anyway?
I've got a show application, just waiting to hear back venue-wise.
Right. Let's hope this success swings it.
I'm thinking about ringing up a couple of people and be like, hey, just want to add something to my application real quick.
Just a little bit. It's got to be done. Well, they'd be mad not to have you. As I said, you're a marvellous talent, and I can't wait to gig with you in the future, and also watch what happens in the final, because it could be a very special evening. But either way, I hope it goes brilliantly well.
Thank you.
There we are. Ruby Carr in the house.